Xiaomi's next-generation phones have arrived, kicking off a new wave of devices at MWC 2023. The regular Xiaomi 13 reviewed here is the midpoint between the Xiaomi 13 Pro and the Xiaomi 13 Lite. But make no mistake, this is still a high-end phone with a high-end build and some impressive cameras. The Xiaomi 13, like the previous generation, is slightly smaller than the Pro variant, making it ideal for anyone who does not require a massive phone. Is it, however, a signature knockout? I've had some time with the Xiaomi 13, and here's my take on it. Make no mistake, the Xiaomi 13 has a stunning design. It is available in 3 colors, black, white and green. Despite my preference for pastel green and blue phones, the Xiaomi 13 received numerous compliments during my time testing it. It has a 2.5D glass back with a lovely sheen, but it does easily pick up fingerprints. A turquoise aluminum alloy chassis completes the look. The phone is 7.9mm thick and 189 grams in weight. This isn't the thinnest flagship phone I've seen, but I'll take it for the high-quality build. The curved edges also make it a pleasure to hold. With a length of only 152mm, it is one of the more compact flagships on the market right now. This is a welcome relief for someone with smaller hands, and it's nice not to have to worry about my phone half hanging out of my jean pocket. The Xiaomi 13 has an IP68 rating, which means it can withstand being submerged in water and is dust resistant on the inside. This is a significant improvement over the Xiaomi 12, which has no IP rating at all. The phone has a USB-C charging port but no 3.5mm headphone jack, which is a common theme in flagship phones. It only has one SIM port, and no microSD card slot. Corning Gorilla Glass 5 protects the 6.36 inches AMOLED display on the Xiaomi 13. It has a resolution of 2400 by 1080 pixels and supports Dolby Vision and HDR10+. It has excellent clarity and is ideal for watching YouTube videos and streaming Netflix shows. If you need a higher resolution than the FHD Plus available here, consider the 13 Pro, which has a WQHD Plus panel. Colors are vivid and striking, and Xiaomi claims that the phone reaches a peak brightness of 1900 nits. In practice, I was able to use it in direct sunlight with minimal glare and still see everything clearly. The phone defaults to a dynamic refresh rate out of the box, but you can set it to either 60 Hz or 120 Hz. You can also choose which apps use the faster refresh rate. The Xiaomi 13 has a touch sampling rate of up to 240 Hz and a dedicated game space mode that allows you to choose between various settings based on your preferences, such as a power-saving mode, a balance mode, a high-quality mode, or a custom one. The phone's haptics are short and clipped, with good feedback and little noise. There is an under-display fingerprint sensor for biometrics, and I had no problems with it. You can also use face recognition, a traditional password, or both. The phone's haptics are short and clipped, with good feedback and minimal noise. For biometrics, there is an under-display fingerprint sensor, and I had no problems with it. If you prefer, you can also use face recognition or a traditional password or PIN. The phone has dual speakers that support Dolby Atmos. The sound is loud and punchy, which makes it ideal for podcasts and videos. There is plenty of depth and bass for music, but it isn't as impressive as some more expensive devices, such as the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. A flagship phone deserves a flagship chip, which is why the Xiaomi 12 is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. This is coupled with 8 or 12 GB RAM and 128 or 256 GB storage. As you might expect, phone performance is excellent. I multitasked between streaming, social media, and phone calls with no stuttering. It is quick and smooth, and it should be quite future-proof for most tasks, including heavy-duty ones. This is reflected in our benchmarking results, with the phone outperforming all other Android models tested so far on Geekbench 5, and only being surpassed by the monster scores set by Apple's iPhone 14 Pro's A16 processor. Clearly, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 has been well optimized for this phone. In terms of gaming, I was able to run the demanding Genshin Impact on medium settings without overclocking or stuttering. That was the same setting I used on the dedicated gaming phone, the Vivo iQOO 9 Pro Legend. The Xiaomi 13 only got slightly warm during the gaming session, thanks to the vapor cooling heat dissipation sink that covers nearly half of the phone's body. In terms of connectivity, the Xiaomi 13 supports Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.3. Xiaomi has chosen a 50-megapixel main camera once again, but this time it has partnered with Leica. It has the same Sony IMX800 sensor as the Honor 70, as well as an f1.8 aperture and optical image stabilization. With the addition of Leica image processing, you can select between vibrant and authentic finishes. The former has a wider dynamic range and brighter tones, whereas the latter is slightly duller. This is especially noticeable in night shots. I preferred the vibrant option because it made details pop out more on the screen, but this is a personal preference. The automatic bokeh effect in portrait mode is a little too strong for my taste, but it can be adjusted before shooting. Despite the amount of blur, it did a good job of not fogging up stray strands of hair, as some cheaper phone cameras do. There's also a 10-megapixel telephoto camera with an f2.2 aperture and an optical zoom range of up to 3.2x. This produces extremely clear images without sacrificing color or quality. Digital zooming can be done up to 30x, but the images become much blurrier. The 12-megapixel wide-angle camera lacks the wow factor of the others, which have an f2.0 aperture and a 120-degree field of view. Colors become duller, and shadows lose their depth. This camera can cause some subjects to appear distorted at certain angles. Night mode effectively lifts subjects, allowing details to be seen even in low-light conditions. The sky, on the other hand, takes on a slightly unnatural blue tinge that I don't see on other phones like the Vivo X70 Pro. A 32-megapixel front-facing camera with an f2.0 aperture is available. This camera's blur effect is less accurate than the main cameras, with some clumps and strands of hair smudging into the background. Nonetheless, I was able to take some decent selfies with this phone, including one taken at night. The selfie camera performs best outside, including at night. Some of the worst images were taken indoors with low lighting, resulting in softer details and dull colors. The Xiaomi 13 can capture footage in 8K at 24 frames per second, 4K at up to 60 frames per second, 1080p at up to 60 frames per second, and 720p at 30 frames per second. You can enable either steady video or ultra-steady video, though the latter has an unnaturally strong effect. The Xiaomi 13 has a 4500 mAh battery, which is the same size as the previous generation Xiaomi 12. The battery was one of the Xiaomi 12's weak points, and sadly, it is the same here. On average, I'd use the phone for about a day, watching videos, listening to podcasts, scrolling through Twitter, and making calls. If I increased the refresh rate to 120 Hz and used the phone heavily, it would drain even faster. Having said that, it did outlast the Xiaomi 12 in our official PC Mark 10 battery test, lasting 11 hours and 40 minutes. Fortunately, charging is a breeze thanks to the included 67-watt brick. This charges the phone from 0% to 87% in 30 minutes, but it gets noticeably hot. Keep in mind that the more expensive Xiaomi 13 Pro has even faster speeds and a 120-watt charger included in the box. Although the Xiaomi 13 supports 50-watt wireless turbo charging, a charger is not included in the box. There is also 10-watt reverse wireless charging. The Xiaomi 13 runs MIUI 14, which is based on Android 13, the most recent version of this software. If you've never used a Xiaomi device before, the OS is one of the most noticeable features. The app bloat isn't as bad as I've seen on other phones, such as the low-cost Poco X5. Nonetheless, there are multiple browser apps, Xiaomi-specific calendars, calculators, and other apps, and more space taken up than is necessary right out of the box. The navigation isn't quite as good as it is on stock Android, and searching for things in the settings can be difficult. Apple users will recognize shortcuts, as quick settings are accessed by swiping down from the top right, and notifications are displayed by dragging down from the left. Also, the Instagram app isn't properly optimized for MIUI. On several occasions, the Stories bar was blacked out, which meant that the names of users did not appear according to online forums. This is a common issue with Xiaomi phones. In general, MIUI isn't the most user-friendly Android skin available, and issues with popular apps may irritate some users. Xiaomi typically guarantees 3 years of operating system updates and 4 years of security patches. While this is better than some manufacturers' offerings, it is not as generous as Samsung's 4-year software update guarantee. The Xiaomi 13 starts from €999.90 and will be available on March 17, 2023 through Xiaomi's official store as well as Amazon. This is a €200 price increase over the previous generation. Taking inflation into account, this puts it on par with the iPhone 14, the Samsung Galaxy S23, and the Google Pixel 7 Pro. These are not only more popular brands, but they also provide more user-friendly software. Furthermore, both the iPhone and the Pixel had significantly longer battery lives in our tests. The Xiaomi 13 is a solid piece of hardware. It's more durable and well-built than the previous generation. Even in low-light conditions, the main camera captures clear, crisp images, and its performance cannot be overlooked.